So this video is basically just about a bunch of wires that I have in my garage that I wanted to just clean up that were exposed. So use some of these nice little tools that you can use just to kind of cover up any wiring jobs that you have, make everything look simplified. And yeah, that's essentially what it is. I started off in this part of the garage. And oh yeah, by the way, the garage prior to this was like a nasty yellowish or like piss yellow color. I ended up repainting the garage to a more normal color. That paint job is same color as inside our house. And so what I was doing was just kind of measuring the length of the pieces that I needed to cover the wires, and just kind of fit it accordingly. And I did use a leveler, so if you guys are thinking I'm just eyeballing all this stuff, I am not. I'm actually using a leveler and making sure that everything is fit to size, but also on level plane, so it actually looks proper. The angle parts were pretty important because you wanted to look as seamless as possible, going from one direction to the other. So just making sure that the wires go through the angles without it bunching up too much. It will look kind of weird if it, if it popped up a little bit. So you want to make sure that it fits in without too much pressure having to be applied to the wire to get it to stay put. And there you go, proof that I actually use a leveler, making sure everything is perfect. And this area, this is where I do, I cut my own hair, I shave, I learn how to give myself a fade, and a lot of wiring going here from charging station to up top, but also have a fluorescent light above too, so I can see myself when I'm cutting my hair, especially in the dark. Yeah, and you'll see here I'm just kind of also using, instead of just using the adhesive, which is at the back of these pieces, I'm also using screw. I'm not even looking for the studs, I'm just using the screws just to kind of add an additional reinforcement, which is enough because it's already got the stickiness to it behind. This particular angle that I'm working on was difficult. A, because I had too much wire out. B, there's no way to cut electrical wiring and reconnecting it. There's no point doing that. And then just, it kind of was bunching up. I know I was talking about making sure it doesn't bunch up, but there was wire going up. There's also wire that needed to, when I say wire, I mean electrical cord. There's the cord going to the right, so I had to use a three-way connection point that allowed it to just kind of look a lot cleaner. To be honest, it doesn't make a huge difference, but I thought just adding that just kind of at least takes away from that cluttery section where there's like all these different cords coming together. So I thought that part made it look a lot better overall. And you will see the final copy eventually, or the final installed version of this. And even to this date, I'm making this voiceover, it's been like several weeks later, it stays perfect. There's no issues of it popping out because of the cords bunching up. I was able to keep the cords kind of in there securely enough so that it's not even, I think right now the cords have probably already taken its form and shape inside the casing, so I think it's all good. And as you can see, I'm not like huge on making exact measurements. I'm just literally just like eyeballing it. Okay, it needs to be about this long, so let's just cut it. So for that part, I added another panel there for the cord to go through. This part made it look really clean because you see there was like a black cord and a white cord, got all messy. So I really wanted that part, and I just, again, like nothing special. I just took a hacksaw, literally, you know, quote unquote, hacked my way through that piece and just kind of use that. I didn't even bother polishing it up. It looks fine as is. It's not so big deal. I think a lot of times people just kind of need everything to be perfect. But again, I'm here working in my garage, right? Anything looks better than how it was before. So I wasn't like overly picky. If it was inside the house, yeah, it'd be a different story. I'd be super picky. But in this case, I'm just kind of happy just cutting things out, making it all kind of snap into place. And that's enough for me in the garage. I mean, if I wanted to kind of make it really nice down the road, maybe I'll put a bit more workmanship into it, I guess. But again, this is, again, just my garage. Getting this part all together was kind of difficult because you have to think about, I'm trying to get this part snug securely, but also that three-way connector I had to do, that also had to join seamlessly between this one and that one. So I think that was probably the most tedious part of this whole part here. But I mean, aside from that, it was pretty simple setup. Again, the adhesive behind the panel really helps because after that's on, you just kind of glue it, or sorry, screw it back in for additional reinforcement, and then it's good. It's not going to ever come off. And here I am bringing back in the leveler. Need to make sure this part is perfectly upright, you know, just trying to stay consistent and somewhat clean. And there you have it. You can look right here. That is the final connecting part of it that I was trying to get right, and wasn't an issue because obviously everything was kind of pre-measured. But I think it looks fairly clean. Yeah, there's more. I mean, I can't cover it any further up. The cords you can see exposed at the top. Those need to wiggle around a little bit here and there. So there wasn't any point for me to bring that panel up any higher up. But I'm pretty happy with what I did so far. And again, just drilling in some pilot holes and then putting in the screws just to keep that extra secure and reinforced. So this is what it looks like. Feel free to leave a comment on what you think, or if you have other ideas, other ways for me to simplify everything, make it look cleaner. And this is the rest of the garage. This is the second thing I was working on today, just kind of cleaning up this area. This is actually where I work. Funny enough, I work in the garage sometimes. So I just like kind of being outside as much as I can, or close to the outside during the summer. I have the door open and just kind of fixing up this area, doing pretty much the same thing I did on the other side, but just kind of routing some of the wire through. And that's for the cord where I usually plug in my laptop and any other appliances, vacuum and whatnot. So it's really just to kind of take that extension cord and bring it somewhere central so that I can plug in things wherever I wanted to. So the story behind this, initially I had a leftover piece or a joint from the panel, and then I realized I might as well just take a leftover from another one and join it together. That's why there's they're disconnected. They didn't come from one piece, so I'm gonna have to do some minor work just to kind of smoothen it out. Maybe add some tape and paint over it or something in the joint. That'll make it look cleaner. But again, it's not such a big deal. And again, same thing, just adding additional screws just to reinforce it. The elbow joint's pretty basic, just a quick 90-degree angle piece. I made sure there's enough space from both panels just to make sure I could kind of connect them together. Looks a lot cleaner than before, although that middle part needs a bit of touching up. And that is the cord, and I kind of use that as my connect everything else. I don't think I'll ever need to replace it. If I can, those panels open up, so if I need to put in a new cord, I can do that. And this section here, I just kind of didn't really do much work there. I just kind of screwed some sections down to the bottom of that drywall just to kind of keep it tight, look clean. And this is basically what I used. Forgot what they're even called. By Legend. CordMate? Yeah, I guess that's what they're called. These panels are called CordMates, but kind of expensive, but you know, makes it look a little better. So, you know, if you go to Home Depot, maybe even Walmart, you probably carry it, or Rona, Lowe's, some of those hardware stores.